Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Professor Dr. Triyo Supriyatno as the lecturer, the subject of Islamic education talk in Islamic education class. And respectable all of my friend rahimakumullah. My name is Mukhamad Assidiqi and I will presentation about HASYIM with my friend Awwalina Mukharomah. First one, biography of HASYIM. HASYIM is one of the great ulama figures that this nation, Indonesia, has ever had. Biographies many people have written about his life. However, from some of the existing written work, it turns out that there is one interesting that may be described in simple words, namely the word pesantren. Even Abdurrahman Mas'ud referred to him as the main plan of pesantren. Number 1, curriculum vitae of HASYIM ASY'ARI. Muhammad Hashim is the nickname given to his parents born in Gedang Village, Java, Jombang on 24 Zulqa'dah 1287 Hijriah. Asy'ari is the name of a father who comes from the Mak and is also the founder of a pesantren. His mother Halimah was educated and raised in a pesantren environment. And Muhammad Hashim ASY'ARI or HASYIM ASY'ARI died on 7 Ramadan 1366 due to high blood pressure. In the age of life, it has a big role in the world of education, especially in the pesantren environment with its theme of knowledge and lesson. Number 2, education history HASYIM ASY'ARI. With a pesantren family background, HASYIM ASY'ARI is not much different from most other Muslims. From childhood, HASYIM ASY'ARI studied along with his father and grandfather, Kyai Usman. His talent and intelligence have started to emerge since being raised by the two of them. In further development, HASYIM became the leader of the major Kyai in Java. According to Zamusari, there are at least 4 important factors behind his leadership character. Number 1, he was born in the midst of the rise of Islam both in Indonesia and the Middle East, especially in Mecca. Number 2, his parents and grandfather were influential pesantren leaders in East Java. Number 3, he himself was born as a very intelligent person and has leadership. Number 4, the development of anti-colonial Arab national and pan-Islamic feeling in the Islamic world. And B, Islamic education through HASYIM ASY'ARI. HASYIM ASY'ARI was born and raised in a pesantren environment and has studied a lot and is directly involved in it, particularly in the Islamic religious education environment. Everything that was experienced and felt by him, as long as it was unexperienced and influenced his mindset and views on educational issues. Also, if not the other aspect of education. Among his reflection on education is number 1, the significance of education. The significance of education, according to HASYIM ASY'ARI, seeks to humanize humans as a whole, so that humans can be developed to Allah SWT. Number 2, the purpose of education. The purpose of education, according to HASYIM ASY'ARI, are become a human being who aims to get closer to Allah SWT. Number 3, characteristic of teacher HASYIM ASY'ARI mentioned. HASYIM ASY'ARI mentioned the characteristic that must be possessed by a teacher. Among others, A. Provision and provision. B. Affection. C. Orderative. D. Self-prompting that positively. E. Work. F. Good at teaching. A. Both mean that, and I pursuing the teaching of the Quran and Al-Hadith. Number 4. Education system. In the education system of HASYIM ASY'ARI based on the Quran as a paradigm based on the revelation of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Number 5. Educational curriculum. The curriculum set by HASYIM ASY'ARI is Al-Quran and Hadith, Usul Fiqh, Fiqh Nahwu, Syaraf, and tend to apply an educational curriculum system that teaches classical books. And 6. Teaching method. To determine the course of learning method must be adjusted and take into account the objective, material, and educational environment. Number 7. The teaching and learning process. Indeed, the success of the learning process is strongly influenced by various factors. 8. Evaluation according to HASYIM ASY'ARI in the assessment not only to determine the extent to which students master the material, but also to determine the extent to which effort to internal value among students can be absorbed in everyday life. Thank you. And next, presented by Awwalina Mukharomah. Awwalina, time is yours.
Okay, thank you. I'm Awwalina Mukharomah and I will continue our presentation to our next material, that is Kiai Haji Hasyim ASY'ARI roles in Islamic education in Indonesia. So first, the biggest role of Kiai Haji Hasyim ASY'ARI in Islamic education in Indonesia is his involvement in the Tebu Ireng Islamic Boarding School, which he set up in Jombang, East Java. Tebu Ireng played a dominant role in the development of Islamic boarding system and has been a main source of Islamic boarding school leader since the 1910. Most of the head or leader of boarding school in Java and Madura are graduates of Tebu Ireng that built Islamic boarding school in their own respective areas. So because of that, Islamic education can spread around Java and Madura Island. And next, Kiai Haji Hasyim ASY'ARI also succeeded in establishing the Nahdlatul Ulama organization in 1926 and continues to this day as the pioneers of madrasah in Indonesia. And now there are thousands of madrasah, public school, and Islamic boarding school that are under the auspice of Nahdlatul Ulama. And now we move to our next material, that is the relevance of Kiai Haji Hasyim ASY'ARI's thought about Islamic education in the context of modern education in Indonesia. So we move to our next slide. First is the purpose of education. The purpose of education, according to Kiai Haji Hasyim ASY'ARI, is to make students who have a good goal to closer to Allah and a person who aim happiness in the world and the hereafter. This goal is directly proportional to the education goals stated in National Education System Law of the Republic of Indonesia number 20 of 2003, Chapter 2, Article 3, which is to develop the potential of students to become human beings who believe and fear God Almighty, have noble character, healthy, knowledgeable, capable, creative, independent, and democratic, and also responsible. And next is about the curriculum and learning methods. So the teaching curriculum that applies by Kiai Haji Hasyim ASY'ARI can briefly describe in several scientific disciplines such as monotheism, Quran, Hadith, Usul Fiqh, Arabic, and morals. He also added several modern sciences such as mathematics, Indonesian, Dutch, earth science, and history, which divided into several levels, that is basic book, intermediate book, and major book. This is in line with the current 2013 education curriculum in Indonesia, which contained more than one subject, which were general knowledge and religious knowledge, and also in line with the National Education System law regarding the level of education. And now about the learning methods. In addition to using traditional methods in his educational activities, Kiai Haji Hasyim Asy'ari also applied several methods including memorization and discussion. The 2013 curriculum contained one of the assessment indicators, that is, practice. The memorization and discussion method are arguably one of the realization of this practice indicator, showing that these educational methods are related and even have similarities with the indicator applied in the 2013 curriculum. Okay, our last material is about the teacher competency, student ethics, and also character education. So Kiai Haji Hasyim Asy'ari mentioned in his book Adab al-Ta'lim wa al-Muta'alim regarding the competency that must be mastered by a teacher, such as be able to give understanding and attention to students regardless their differences, and also be able to evaluate the educational activities, is in line with Indonesian National Education System law regarding the competency that must be mastered by a teacher, that are the ability to understand students and evaluate learning outcomes. And then about the student ethics, Kiai Haji Hasyim Asy'ari mentioned in his book Adab al-Ta'lim wa al-Muta'alim that students must have a straight intention and a clean heart in seeking knowledge, and also respect and honor teacher even their flaws. This is in line with the government regulation number 17 of 2010 regarding the duty of students to maintain physical and spiritual cleanliness, and also the duty of students to respect educators and other teaching staff. And lastly is about the character education. We can see the relevance of the concept of character education by Kiai Haji Hasyim Asy'ari with the government character education strengthening programs, where the values of Kiai Haji Asy'ari taught and also the government programs is in line. For example, the piety of Allah, love for Prophet, and respect for teacher is actually one of the behavior to practice religious teaching to fulfill religious values of the government's programs. And then patient, honest, making good use of time, and also responsibility is also the realization of one of the values of government regulation, that is the value of integrity. In the context of today's life, character education needs to be given great attention to guide and direct human from moral damage and bad character. So from our explanation, we can conclude that Kiai Haji Hasyim Asy'ari thinking about education is still relevant to use today. Islamic education must be prioritized character education and not only oriented to the worldly interests but also oriented to the afterlife. Okay, that's all from our explanation and presentation. Thank you for your attention. We hope that this presentation will give you understanding and new information. We do apologize for any mistakes and lack of materials. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.